5 things to consider before applying for a loan. These items are coming from me, Ty, who have been working in banking for the last 6 years. This is just my perspective, but a few things that I see, a couple do's and don'ts. I love talking about credit and just want to see people, succeed and get the help that they need. Sometimes we kind of go into the loan process with the wrong information, maybe not as prepared, and it can prevent you from getting that loan that you might desperately need. So, here's 5 things that maybe can help you the next time that you are considering applying for a loan. Tip number one, very important. This goes into applying for a loan, but also just credit in general. Don't max out your credit cards. If credit cards are maxed, that lowers your score, which lowers the chance, one, of maybe you getting approved, but two, the biggest thing is your interest rate is going to be higher. The lower your credit score, the higher your interest rate is, right? Now, if you're looking to buy a car, this can be a major factor in terms of getting maybe a 6% versus a 16 if you're completely maxed on your credit. Credit cards typically account for about 100 points in your credit score. So, at times you might have to carry those balances, and those credit cards are there for you to use. They're yours. But if you're looking to make a big purchase on a house, car, personal loan, and you're able to maybe pay these credit card balances down even by half, consider waiting before pulling your credit and asking for that loan. Work on paying down your balances first and then applying for the loan. You have a much better credit score, and if you are to get approved, then your rate will be much lower. Typically, once you make your payments, you got to give it a month or so, maybe a cycle to actually report and reflect. So you can't make payments on your credit cards today and then apply tomorrow thinking that they're going to reflect. So definitely keep that in mind. Let everything kind of process, let your credit score go up, but this should heighten your chances, one, of approval, but more importantly, getting the best credit score possible. Tip number two is just finding the right time to consolidate your debt. When you talk about consolidating your debt, what creditors really look at is this person is in a position of bringing down debt, bringing down their balances. They finally come to a place where they're ready to conquer their debt, stop paying so much in interest. If you go to someone and you've recently opened up two, three, four, five different lines of credit, all within a short period of time, creditors look at that like you're in your spending phase. They don't want to consolidate debt for somebody who looks to be in their spending phase, because really what they're thinking is we might pay these credit cards off and then you're going to rack them right back up. So just be mindful that, when you are ready to take that step in consolidating debt, that you can put to paper that, hey, I'm no longer in my spending phase. I'm trying to tackle down debt. Now, this might be waiting until your credit cards have been seasoned for a little bit. This could be other things too, as showing maybe bank statements that, hey, my minimum payment is $30. I've been paying 100 on this one. My minimum payment on this card is 75. I've been paying 200. And then if you can kind of put together, facts and numbers to show that you have been tackling debt on your own already, that might give you an upper hand in terms of, underwriters really considering that loan for you. Credit unions are really good about hearing stories and kind of having a face-to-face and a conversation with people, opposed to just giving you an instant approval or denial. So things like that can go a long way. So don't be afraid to have conversations with your loan officers, your intent, what you want to do, how you can pay off the money. At times, it can help to say, hey, you guys can pay my credit cards directly. I don't want to use them anymore. If you ask to consolidate your credit card debt and then put up a fight about the credit union or bank paying off the credit cards directly, it's going to raise a red flag. Why can't we do it, right? So just be mindful of things like this. And I know that, it can be easier to manage our funds, pay it down faster, but just be open to the fact that you're asking for a consolidation loan. There might be a certain process, plan, and procedure to consolidate debt. So just a quick tip there on consolidating loans. Okay, tip number three, know how to improve your credit. So this is maybe one of my biggest pet peeves in terms of just finance and, when people apply for loans, and just a disconnect between a loan officer and member or customer or whatever you want to call it. If you apply for a loan and you do not get approved, I need you to ask why, to understand the reason behind it. You have to take the emotion out of the denial. I know that can be hard at times. If you're in a tough situation, scenario where things are tight, you really need the funds. I get it. I definitely do. But you gotta take the emotion out. Ask questions. If I didn't get approved this time, how can I get approved the next time? A lot of workers, a lot of people will have that conversation with you. I'm really big on having that conversation with my people. Hey, unfortunately, we weren't able to get this for you today. This is what you should do in the future to get improved. Take those steps. Apply when they suggest it. Show that you can listen. Show that you can take care of your stuff. Show that you want this. And it's not just a one off scenario. I've had a lot of times where somebody comes in, they ask for maybe $10,000 on a personal loan, and they've never had a loan like this before. So maybe they get counter offered for $2,000, right? Majority of the time, person gets upset. I need more. I don't want this loan. Screw you guys. Walk out the door. In a year, if you need that $10,000, that $10,000 loan again, and you come back, nothing's changed. You're looking at the same answer. Take the $2,000 counteroffer. Show that you can make the payments. Show that you can knock it out early. Build some trust. Build some history. You got to take the emotion out of it and find ways to build yourself, build your profile, look less risky. So one thing here is just really trying to learn, and that's in everything that we do. Feedback from an employer. You can get upset about it. You can try to learn and grow from it. I'm not going to get too much into the personal. Keep it more towards the lending, but really thinking about how I can grow, how I can become less of a risk in the eyes of lenders so that I can continue to get improved. All right, tip 4. It's kind of a unique one. And this one is don't wait to apply for loans until you need it. So please, caution here. Don't go out and open up 7, 8 credit cards. That's not what I'm telling you to do. The thing that I do see sometimes, those who have never really needed credit, those whose parents have said, credit cards are the devil, stay away from it. And then they come in at 35, 40, have never had any type of credit history, and then want, that $40,000 car or that dream car or need money to fix their home, and they've had no history whatsoever. That can hurt you. Not having any credit, at least creditors unable to kind of have a reference point to say, how does this person borrow? How is this person in terms of paying things on time, etc. Now, you might make a certain amount of money that maybe it gets bypassed and maybe they don't care. But for the most part, your credit is kind of like your report card. And it shows creditors how you pay. So as you go, you do want to start a lending relationship. You do want to put stuff out there. And again, it doesn't mean opening up 10 accounts, 2, 3 major credit cards. Start with one. After a year, 2 years, ask for an increase. I've seen people who have multiple credit cards but never had a personal loan because they didn't need it. But then maybe when you need a high dollar personal loan, you don't get approved. Get a $2,000 personal loan. You don't have to pay the interest for, the 2-3 year term. Pay it off in 9 months. Pay it off in a year. Pay a little bit of interest to build that profile so that in the event that you do need something, now you have a loan already in your credit to say, hey, I did that. I took care of that. Y'all can trust me. Approve me. So don't wait until it's needed. You gotta build that profile. Credit is such a game. It's crazy, but you gotta learn how to play it. You gotta finagle it to benefit you. All right, tip 5. Know what's on your credit report. Please. It sometimes baffles me how many times that somebody might come in for a loan request and your credit is gonna get looked at. You're gonna have an interview on the things in your credit report. And it is not a good look when you can't tell somebody why you opened something up, why you have a $10,000 balance on a credit card, why you were delinquent. It's much better in, just for lending purposes and evaluating things that if you have a story behind delinquency, hey, I was let go of my job for 2-3 months. I had to pay the rent, had to pay the car. These credit cards went behind. Or if you have a high balance on your bills, we had some emergency medical, transmission went out in the car. That was kind of a one-off thing, right? That makes sense. Things happen. Lenders understand that life happens and that's okay. But if you have $10,000, $15,000 balance on your credit cards and you're asked about them and you say, oh, I don't know, just day-to-day life, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign because that tells them that you're living off your credit cards. That if I give you another loan, you're going to live off that and continue to live off the credit cards. And now that we're the newest loan, if things go bad, you're probably not going to pay us. Delinquency, same thing. To say I don't know or don't remember, it kind of shows you don't care. And if you don't care about your credit then, do you really care about it now? And that right there can make you look a little risky in the eyes of a lender. So these are just a few things that I've kind of seen in my time doing banking. Again, I'm sure I have plenty more. If you have questions about the lending process and approval process, I'm happy to answer those. It's different everywhere and for everyone, but I think these things can come in handy. I wish you luck if you do need to get a loan or you're working on your credit. You got this, and we're here for you.